Hi guys, and welcome to the August video. And as you probably can guess, it's about to get a bit more exciting than some of the last ones because the watercolours are out again. Lots of watercolours are out again. And more watercolours come out as the video progresses, because why not? Because I remembered I had things in the cupboard. Yeah, so we got them all out by the end of it. And I don't know why jellyfish for August. We're just going with it. And I don't know why jellyfish, because I have never actually really drawn a jellyfish before in my life, let alone painted a jellyfish, let alone painted a jellyfish in watercolours on a bullet journal that isn't really designed for watercolours. But here we are, we went with it. I kind of made it up as I went along, and I think it's worked. I hope it's worked. There's no kind of real horrible bleed through currently on my pages or massive crinkling. I know I've done worse to previous journals than what I've done with this one with watercolours, so we're gonna call it a success, I think. Apart from the fact in later pages I, realised when you draw a great big jellyfish across an entire page, you will have to actually write on them at some point, which is kind of sad. But yeah, I'm just making this up as I kind of did a bit of a Google how to draw jellyfish, watched a couple of videos and kind of went, yeah, I can do that. I'll make it up as I go. This is the result. I've also as well discovered though, so since moving to this house, I've had my camera mount mounted onto the side of my desk. Previous house, it was mounted onto the windowsill. And it's all well and good having it mounted on your desk, except if you knock your desk. My camera mount decides it wants to relocate itself. Luckily in this video it's only done it a slight amount, and because obviously watercolours, I've had to stop between finishing each jellyfish because I can't then write over it without, ruining it, so I've had to let it dry. So it's just been a case of, well, between each page I've had to angle the camera very slightly because it, relocated itself. Not the end of the world, but I do think I might have to move it and straighten it so it, it stays straight, hopefully. I'll have to see if it will actually mount to these windowsills, whether they're the same depth or not. That is a task for another day. Also this month, so this pen isn't, but the pens that I'm fine lining with for the extra drawing, I've had them a little while. I say a little while, I got them at Christmas. These are waterproof pens, and I hadn't tried them before, hadn't used them. Didn't think, maybe I'll test these out on something before I paint over them, just in case they are not as waterproof as they claim. Just went for it straight in the book. Let's just draw with them. Let's draw my picture and just paint over them and hope for the best. Luckily, it has worked. There was a few moments where I was like, am I going to regret doing this? But actually, it worked. So, hopefully, as I have a bit more time through August, because, I don't massively work in August with my real job, I might have a bit more of a play with sort of watercolour painting, where instead of doing the fine lining after, I can do it at the beginning, which I would prefer because I think that makes my life a lot easier, where I don't lose my pencil marks or anything like that. Especially, and I have a whole set of, like, is it 8 of them, 9 of them, 10 of them in the pack of all different colours, so actually I can probably do something quite exciting, I hope. Well, not exciting, but I've got the scope for lots of different colours. And you can see here, sorry, change of subject, my watercolour pans at the top there that I did the video of me swatching them out, I thought, I'd add a bit of glitter into some of these because some of these are really quite sparkly. I didn't use all of them, and I did have my swatch card that I made at the top there, just so I could remember which colour came out as what, because they don't all quite look like their actual palettes when they're painted on paper. So, and again, I don't know what they'll look like at the time, painted onto something that isn't watercolour paper. So I just thought I'd add a bit of sparkle to each of my jellyfish. because why not? And you can see me checking dates here because I had no idea what day of the week I was on half the time, trying to work out where to write things in between the jellyfish and not wanting to. So here you've even seen me, I do this a few times, forget that I need to line my jellyfish first, that I don't paint it then line, because I am not used to having pens that I can actually paint over. This is quite a novelty to me, and I think I did that on most of the remaining pages, started to paint and then went, oh yeah, line it first, because otherwise you can't rub out your pencil lines that are everywhere, because, you know, absolute chaos. You can keep seeing these camera readjust between things because it likes to move. And the whole reason as well, because I outlined in sepia because I didn't want it to be a hard black, because obviously potentially having to write over it. I didn't hard line my boxes in black in watercolour straight away because I didn't know how I was doing it, and I have no idea where I went in that video there. You know, have a bonus 4-second me possibly going to find different paints, checking something. But because I didn't know how I was going to do the lines, I didn't hard line in like a watercolour black on my boxes, because I didn't actually want to line through my jellyfish until I got to points like this, when I kind of went, oh, so my jellyfish, like the main bit of it, is fully over my finance kind of track a bit, so I'm going to have to line over it. Otherwise I just can't use that on this page, and that's just not going to work for me. And it really pained me to draw over it. I hesitated. I did try and not do it first, and then I kind of looked at it and went, I'm gonna have to, because some of the boxes, if I miss out bits of lines, it doesn't matter because you can see the rest of the lines, and I'm just kind of missing a corner of the day box, you know, for like Monday or Friday or something, or most of Sunday on this day. But I pretty much covered the entirety of the finance tracker, and you can see me trying to work out where to put lines, and you can see there with sort of Saturday, Sunday, I completely misjudged and just drew a line straight down, didn't separate my boxes, because it is chaos trying to work it out. And you can see me sort of here looking at it and like going, drawing them in, and then contemplating it and looking at it again, and having not done it, and writing all the dates in while I'm still thinking about it and going, and then realising I've just got to do it and just draw straight over it, as much as it makes me sad, because otherwise it is completely unusable. Again, I picked up my paint and I went, outline it first, because it's a novelty. It is a novelty. But, you know, luckily this pen is pretty tolerant, so even when I missed out all the bits, like originally where I painted in the colour, the pen would go over, like around them, off over them just fine without actually affecting it, which was nice. Because some pens, even if they're waterproof when they're dry, but if you use them onto wet paper, they just bleed and be a complete nightmare. So I'm glad this one doesn't. So I would definitely recommend these. I am definitely going to do more. Maybe I might have a go at doing jellyfish again on an actual piece of watercolour paper, because I think the blending on these kind of tendrils would be, well, it's currently, the blending is not really existent, is it, in all fairness. So if I actually did this on watercolour paper that I could saturate with water, I'd be able to sort of do a bit more wet on wet paint and hopefully kind of blend it more so it isn't quite such a hard line. I like the effect it's given in this book, but I think that I could improve. So that might be something I do at some point. I always say this and then forget, but I might write this idea down as a come back to this idea, because it's a good idea, and you know, I should actually do it. You can see on this one I didn't hesitate quite so much of drawing over it. I've done it once. I've just got to draw over my jellyfish on that finance box, All the other boxes I do still go round because I don't think it makes much of a difference to them if I just don't use that corner. But I definitely, for my finances tracker, need to do it. And you see there I write tasks and notes instead of notes and tasks instead of tasks and notes. That's the one. And you see me there picking up my paintbrush again because I was going to do it, but I caught myself just before I did it that time. I kind of went, no, line it first. So I made my paint even wet. You know, let it activate a little bit because I'm really bad for not doing that. Especially when painting in a bullet journal, I probably use the paint not very wet, so I don't saturate the paper, so it's sometimes quite a lot more pigmented, but sometimes disadvantages too, that it's very pigmented and not very easy to work with. You get splotchy colours, but I don't want to ruin the paper and I don't want to ruin the painting on the other side, because that was a big concern. But I do seem to have put it, which is great. And I don't think I have done such a long video in forever. I genuinely don't know the last time my video got over 10 minutes. So I am fully rambling at anyone who's still listening. And if you are still listening, I thank you. If you've muted me, I do not blame you. But there is still the rest of this one and one more to go. However, I'm not going to keep talking at you because I have that thing to say, except have I? Because this is the point where I got that other palette of paint out, which you can just kind of see on top of my other one, which I've had again since, well, this one before Christmas. And it's iridescent, they're all iridescent. And I'd never ever used them before. It calls them glittery, I call them iridescent, but they are definitely very, very, like, I don't think the camera ever does it justice really, but they actually do really, really sparkle. I am going to be using more of them because the colours, I didn't use all of the colours this time, but the colours I did use, I am impressed with, and they are sparkly. So watch this space, there might be something more coming with them. I don't know what, could be jellyfish, could be something else entirely. We shall see, but there'll be something. And yes, last page, last weekly setup. I went for 2. I did 1 in each corner. I went for 2. I didn't actually forget this time to, line it first without picking up my brush. But anyway, I am actually going to go now and let you enjoy the rest of this without me talking at you. Enjoy the last 2, and very shortly you'll see my full flick through. See you next month.